Orzubek Shaymov in the red corner. And in the blue corner from Ireland, John Nevin, 22 years old. John ranked number 4 in the world. So Orzubek Shaymov, as the boxers make their way to ring B, Gerardo Woge from Argentina, Woge, would be the referee. The judges, Pizarro, Sidi Yakub, Wang, Sinar, and Alvarado for this bantamweight matchup. As we stated, Shaymov, he was in the 2006 Ayuba Junior World Championships, placed 7th. Then in 2009 at the Ayuba President's Cup right here in Baku, Azerbaijan, he placed 1st. He was a 6th place participant in the Asian Games in 2010 in Guangzhou Province, China. And earlier this year, at the Governor's Cup in St. Petersburg, Russia, he placed 2nd. Yesterday, in the round of 16, he beat Gojan Vekislav of Moldova, who was himself ranked number 5, by a score of 13-8. So Orzubek has really shown a lot of improvement over the years and progress. John Joe Nevin, number 4 in the world, yesterday beat Atkandali Dorinjabu of Mongolia on a decision of total scoring after they drew 18-18 after 3 rounds. So they went to the total punches, total output, and he eked out an extremely close decision. So he's also a World Series of Boxing participant, John Joe Nevin. So let's see how these two fare. Shaymov from Uzbekistan in the red, Nevin from Ireland in the blue. Both boxers boxing in the orthodox stance. You can see they're leading with their left feet and their left hands. The jabbing hand. The right hand in the back, ready to unleash the bomb when the opportunity presents himself. And there's Nevin showing some good footwork. He's light on his feet, very energetic here, as he should be. It's early in the first round, and he's young. Very athletic. Shaymov giving up a few inches in height, as you could see right there. It's clear on the profile. Nevin has a few inches, perhaps 2 or 3, over his opponent, and that's going to make for a tactical advantage, as Shaymov is more likely than not going to need to stay in close. And you can see it is Shaymov indeed. Looks like his game plan is to press the action, because he's going to need to stay inside. Remember, when you're the shorter boxer with the shorter arms, you give up a few inches in reach, which means that you need to get closer to your opponent to hit him than he does to you. And as a result, you need to get in there using your hands and your feet so that you can get close enough to land those punches. Of course, while doing so, you're crowding your taller opponent's punches, as he's unable to really get full extension when you're up that close, and therefore can't get the maximum impact on his own punches. So again, Shaymov's going to want to get inside. Nevin's going to want to stay on the outside and box him using those long arms to jab, as we saw Luke Campbell do in the last bout. So there's 1 minute left in round number 1. Shaymov continuing to stalk his opponent, while Nevin continues to stay light on his feet as he stays around the ring. And the referee looks like he's urging Nevin to box, which is a good call, because while Nevin has been staying at a distance, he hasn't really been throwing any punches through this round, and that's not what he's here to do. He's here to score points. He's here to win, and the only way to win is to score points or to knock out your opponent, both of which require you to throw punches. Shaymov continuing to press the action. Now Nevin picks up his pace a little bit. Nevin even looking now to stand there and trade. Big looping right hand by Nevin, followed by a left. Both of them deflected, not clean scores. And there's a left and a right by Nevin, and Shaymov just looking for his opportunity, throwing wild lefts and rights. You see how his arms are just too short to connect with Nevin from that distance. He's going to need to get in close. He's now got Nevin against the ropes. Not a place Nevin wants to be, and Nevin knows that, and he quickly escaped that predicament. Precarious one at that. So after round number 1, the Uzbeki boxer takes the lead with a score of 7-4. He was certainly the more active boxer, and he was able to get in there. As you could look from round one, the left hand by Nevin, which was partially blocked to the right rib cage of Shaymov. Shaymov himself throwing a quick, snappy left jab in there and chasing down his man. Wonderful job by the Azerbaijani Boxing Federation as well as AIBA to organize this event. Again, a lot of countries, a lot of boxers, a lot of boxing going on, a lot of statistics and logistics, production issues, and it's been going off flawlessly. So kudos to all involved in organizing this wonderful event here in Baku, Azerbaijan. And round two underway as Nevin continues now his onward march. He's now pushing the action in round two. I'm sure his corner told him, now you're the guy down on three. It's an interesting change of events here. In round one, the taller boxer was going to let the shorter boxer bring it to him. And as soon as the shorter boxer went up on the scores by 3 points, in round two, now the sense of urgency for the taller boxer to actually press the action. So it's interesting to see what a change of events can do. It still plays into Shaymov's hand because now Nevin's going to have to get inside or press the action. Shaymov may have a better opportunity now to use his footwork to avoid some of the onslaught that Nevin may bring, while at the same time scoring punches of his own. And here even Nevin continuing to push forward. So this is very much a tactical matchup, a stylistic matchup. And there's a nice left hand by Nevin, a jab that snaps back the head of Shaymov. So that was a clean punch. And Shaymov is going to want to keep his hands a little higher to prevent that jab from coming in. It's a snappy, fast, straight jab that Nevin has. He should be using it more often. And not only more often, he should be doubling and tripling it up. And not only the frequency, but also the rate, the iterations within an exchange, or combinations, if you will, of jabs. There's no reason why he can't throw a 3-punch combo, all being jabs. Get Shaymov a little off balance, a little offset, and then come back with the big right hand. These one punch at a time exchanges by Nevin are not going to serve him as well as throwing more combination punching. And Nevin is going to need to keep his hands up a little higher to avoid those jabs from scoring clean points for Nevin. So they push off in the center of the ring, and action is well underway here, just under a minute left in round number two. You're here at the Heydar Aliyev Sports Complex in Baku. It's the 2011 AIBA World Championships qualifying event, the first one for the London Olympic Games next summer. All the boxers you're watching here today have already qualified by having progressed to this round, this being the quarterfinal round. Now you see Shaymov standing his ground in the center. A nice right hand to the ribs by Nevin, followed up with a right counterpunch by Shaymov, and then a left. So Shaymov starting to press the action here. Just 10 seconds left, and Nevin fighting for his dear life here because he realizes he was down by a few in the first, and if he continues to stay down on the scorecards at the end of two, he is going to have no choice but to go to the hilt, full speed on round three. And sure enough, the Uzbeki boxer has maintained a 2-point advantage. So the Irishman has been able to cut the lead that the Uzbeki boxer had by 1. However, he's still down by 2 with a score of 11-9 here as we make our way to the third round. And you take a look at the action from round 2. There's a snapping left, right combo by Shaymov. And John Joe Nevin in his corner getting some final instructions here. Just 20 seconds left before round 3 shall begin. You see the scoring there round by round. This is a men's bantamweight bout, 56 kilograms. And we're back in action here for the third and final round. The lunging lead right hand by Shaymov wasn't expected by Nevin, and Nevin's really going to see the sense of urgency now as Nevin continues to press. He's got to come up 2 points and then more to take the lead, all while keeping Shaymov from landing one score. So he's got his work cut out for him, does John Joe Nevin. Nice left hand right down the middle. There's that jab through the guard of Shaymov that we spoke of earlier. Again, Nevin is going to want to continue that jab. Look how Shaymov's hands are down. It's a great opportunity. Nevin's going to want to use his feet, if he needs to, deceivingly, to get that jab in. Perhaps Shaymov feels he could see that jab coming and slip it. Well, not if Nevin gets creative. He could use his feet to get inside. He could also do feints like that. However, he's going to want to feint the other way. He may feint the right hand and then follow it up with the jab, or feint the jab and then throw it with the right. But just the feint without the follow-up punch doesn't score you any points. Although he may be thinking down the road like a chess match, 1 or 2 moves ahead. He throws the feint once, doesn't throw the punch, throws another feint without the punch. Maybe get Shaymov thinking that the feint is only the feint. And then perhaps on the third time, throw the feint with the punch behind it. Maybe catch Shaymov off guard. He could be thinking that, although he's only got 1.5 minutes to employ that tactic. So if that's what he was thinking, he's going to need to get on that horse quickly. And as the strap of the headgear gets readjusted by Nevin's corner, we're just at the halfway point of this third and final round. I don't yet see where Nevin has caught up, at least not so overtly. May have snuck a point or two in there, but I don't think I've seen that. So Nevin's going to really need to press the action. He may want to try going to the body, maybe throw a right hand to the body while Shaymov's hands are up like that. A point scored to the body is worth as much weight as a point scored to the head. Doesn't matter where he gets the points from, he just needs to get them. Nice feint, and there it is. We spoke of that earlier. There was the feint by the right, and he followed up with the left, and it seemed to have worked. It looks like he actually scored a point there, and he followed it up with another right hand, so perhaps Nevin was onto something there. There's the feint again, and another. He's ripping the left to that right temple of Shaymov, but Shaymov had his hand up for that, was able to block it. A nice left hand right through the guard by Nevin, so perhaps Nevin is starting to cut this lead away, and there was another right hand that may have scored, so this one could look to be very close on the scorecards. Nevin keeps up this work rate. Now looks like Shaymov seems to be the aggressor. Perhaps he feels he needs to score some more points. The referee going to caution Nevin, and boxing resumes right here in the center of the ring. 20 seconds left. Tension so thick you could cut it with a knife, and a nice lead right hand by Shaymov. He's bringing it on now. Left hand by Nevin, a double. There's the double jab we spoke of. Do it again. Throw that right. One last score perhaps before the final bell. Nope. Wasn't meant to be. We shall see though. This could be very close. Very exciting bout so far here in Ring B. Men's bantamweight quarterfinals. Orzubek Shaymov and John Nevin. See the corner of John, perhaps a look of consternation. Not entirely certain whether he's going to come away with this victory. He's already got a spot to London, but of course he'd love to medal, and perhaps better than medal, to gold. Take first place here at the World Championships. He's going to have to get through this right here. Let's wait and see. And he gets it. John Joe Nevin, after being down the first 2 rounds, he ekes out a 2-point victory. Very impressive. So it looks like those feint tactics, the doubling and tripling of the jabs, the first round of tactically avoiding and feeling out his opponent, all seem to work in his favor. Very impressive. John Joe Nevin will move on to the semifinals and keep Ireland's hopes alive for another world champion. Congratulations as we get ready now for the third bout of the afternoon. Also in the men's bantamweight, 56 kilograms. Just looking at some final footage here from this last bout, as you can see, spirited action indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from Belfast, Gerard, Healy.
Well, here's Gerard Healy, and only his third professional fight. Won one, lost one so far. It'd be an upset if you were to beat Liam Smith here. As you heard Steve say, he's a hard lad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from the city of Liverpool, Liam Smith.
From the Fighting Smith family, Liam has one draw on his record, which he puts down to the fact that he went into the ring against Terry Carruthers and took off 1.5 stone in about a week and a half in order to get down to the weight to take that contest. Well, he's better prepared tonight.
That's just crazy. That's why the boxing board have brought rules in for boys at championship level, so they don't cut that sort of weight. I know it goes on a lot in America, but down here the British Boxing Board are very stringent on that fact. So obviously, hopefully he's learned his lesson, and then we'll see a better performance tonight.
Well, as you're hearing, he did look good last time out, beating Barry Jones, a third-round knockout. Before that, had a inside the distance win against Matt Scriven. He likes to think of himself as a welterweight. His weight ballooned up to about 11.5 stone almost, but now back towards the weight at which he does look the most effective, and let's see if he can produce something good tonight.
Yeah, well, just looking at his record, Barry Jones is a very good win for him, especially a boy in his 8th fight. To go to knock someone out like Barry Jones, that's a very, very good performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest this evening, sponsored by Fat Gary Sports, is 6 3-minute rounds in the light middleweight division. Firstly, please welcome, weighing in 11 stone, 3 pounds, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the green, white and orange shorts, hailing from Belfast. Please welcome, Gerard Healy. And across the ring, his opponent this evening, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the green and white shorts, weighing in 10 stone, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. Please welcome, undefeated in 8 professional contests, with 7 wins and 1 draw, one of Liverpool's 3 Fighting Smith brothers, beefy Liam Smith. The referee in charge of the action is Mark Lyson of Liverpool, who will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Okay lads, both know the rules. It's to obey my commands. If I tell you to break cleanly, defend yourselves at all times, okay? Touch gloves.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
Liam Smith, trained by Joe Gallagher, big brother Paul in the corner, along with Anthony Croller. Paul has got a fairly spectacular engagement of his own coming up before too long. He's going to be fighting George Groves at Wembley, and that's one really to look forward to, which you'll be able to watch on Box Nation on November the 5th. Well, boxing very much in the blood, and Liam will be wanting to post an impressive performance here tonight.
Yeah, of course, he started off well behind that long jab. Looking at Healy's record, one fight, what is it, one fight, 1 loss. You know, he's not in a journeyman mode. He's coming to win. You see, he's starting off that jab, and he's trying to catch Smith with a counter, but Smith is a bit too cute for that.
Smith well schooled. Anthony Croller in that corner. He's looking forward to a fight against Willie Limond in the not too far distance, and still the talk rumbles on about him possibly fighting Eric Morales somewhere down the line.
Yeah, but the great Eric Morales, he's still going strong. Watched his last fight, you know, he boxed very well, but you know, watching Smith here today, you know, he's just controlling the centre of the ring. He's keeping him on the end of that jab, and he's just basically, I think he's just looking for what mistakes he's going to make.
Healy won his debut in May against Aaron Fox, lost last time out against Walsh in September. And Smith looks a bit too good for him at the moment. Good body shot, lovely shot, left hook. That was a cracker.
That was a lovely shot. He dropped the shoulder, he went round the back of the elbow. They had a hard shot to get up from.
9, 10.
Oh, he's had another first rounder. He's been counted out. He wants to continue. Referee had a look at him and said no.
No, I think Healy there, he was waiting for the count. I think that hurt him, that knocked all the wind out of him, and he didn't want to continue.
Well, he looks a bit nonplussed, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he acted at the end when the ref finally said, you know, it's over, he went to the fight, but that was a wicked body shot round the back of the elbow. You know, one of my favourite shots. Tap to the head, lift the elbows up and go underneath, and you know, the cracking shot right in the rib cage.
That's a terrific shot. And the pain of those body shots, they stay with you.
Yeah, you know, basic fundamentals. He made his hands come up. He's seen the hands come up. He's seen the target. He hit the target. And he drove through the target. And them shots he don't get up from.
Joe Gallagher looking happy. Congratulations as well from big brother Paul. And Liam, 23 years old, Liam Beefy Smith gets another win.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 1 minute 36 seconds of round one, Gerard Healy has failed to beat the referee's count. The winner in the blue corner from Liverpool, Beefy Liam Smith.
Well, we were talking about whether or not these first round stoppages would continue. Richard, you had another.
I wonder if this trend is going to continue all night, Steve.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the ring from Belfast, Tommy Tolan.
Here's Tommy Tolan, 37 years old. Took this fight at late notice. Was originally supposed to be a booking for Lee Noble, who's a tall, slippery sort of fighter who fights out of the Ingles stable. Tommy Tolan, very different kettle of fish. Got a big right hand, and he's a bit of a brawler, and he'll give Rocky Fielding an argument for his money.
Please welcome into the ring, the Rocky from Stocking, Rocky Fielding.
Rocky Fielding made his name as a prizefighter champion. Rocky from Stocky, he comes from Stockbridge Village. And like Tony Bellew, started his career at the Stockbridge Amateur Club before switching to the famed Rotunda Club. Undefeated in 8 fights, and he got that 6-fight contract with Frank Warren's promotional organisation on the back of what was a very good performance in coming in as a late substitute and winning one of the most exciting prize fighters that we've seen. Came through beating Patrick Maxwell, Joe Ainscoe and Tobias Webb. 6'2", big for a super middleweight, and he's got a lot of supporters here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest this evening, sponsored by Fat Gary Sports, is 6 3-minute rounds in the super middleweight division. Firstly, weighing in 12 stone, 2 pounds, 4 ounces, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white and green shorts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Belfast, Tommy Tolan. And across the ring in the blue corner is a young man making his 9th professional start tonight. Please welcome from Liverpool, wearing the white and purple shorts, weighing in 12 stone, 3 pounds, 8 ounces, undefeated with 8 straight wins and 3 knockouts. the Rocky from Stocky, Rocky Fielding. The referee in charge of the action is Steve Gray of Fleetwood, who will now give his final instructions to both boxers.
Come on, Rocky. Okay, boys, if I call break, you take one step back, okay? No punches on the back of the head. Touch gloves. Good luck, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6 3-minute rounds.
Big height and reach advantage for Fielding. There he is, and there's Tommy Tolan, just 5'8", almost as wide as he is high, isn't he? And just demonstrating that he has got the appropriate gum shield. England rugby players take note.
Yeah, you say obviously height and reach advantage by Rocky Fielding, but it can have the opposite effect. Is, you know, it's very hard punching downwards as well. So if Tommy Tolan makes himself a little bit shorter, you know, he can make things hard for Fielding. But obviously Fielding should be using his reach, keeping that long jab, which he's got a lovely jab, and keeping him at distance and keeping him comfortable.
Very popular lad, Rocky Fielding. I was there when he won the prize fighter tournament at Liverpool Olympia, and it was an electric atmosphere that night.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, and you know, Rocky Fielding, he was a late substitute, but most of the crowd were there to see him. So you know, they put him in last minute. It was a fantastic atmosphere there. I just noticed that Rocky Fielding slipping a little bit here in the canvas, and you know, it's happened to a couple of boys here tonight. I hope that's not going to play a factor.
There's that right hand. That's the damaging punch that Fielding has in his armoury.
Yeah, he comes off the jab. He sort of sticks a jab in your face, blinds you, and then throws that right hand over the top.
Tolan mentioned that right hand. That's his danger shot. Knocked out a young prospect called J.J. McDonough last year. Knocked him cold with the right hand.
Yeah, you see the way he does it. He dips his left shoulder and he's trying to throw that right hand over the top. Fielding doesn't want to get into a brawl with this guy. He's built for fighting, I think, is Tommy Tolan.
You only need to look at him to know what sort of a fighter he is, and there's a cut there. There's a cut around his left eye, I think. Try and get a closer look at that between rounds.
Yeah, the problem is Fielding's not letting him.
There it is.
Fielding's not keeping him off. It's at the corner. It's at the top of the eye, so it could look quite nasty if it opens up. Nice little right hand there by Fielding. But the problem he's got, he's not letting him. He's letting Tommy Tolan come into him. He's not keeping him away.
Let's try and see if we can see in the replays whether that's been done by a clash of heads. But you can see again heads going in close, and the referee Steve Gray is going to have to keep a watch on this.
Yeah, obviously Tolan's tactics are getting close and working close, but if the way he's coming in, heads are going to clash.
There's a clash on the. Looks as though there's blood seeping from a wound on the top of Tolan's head as well. Unless it's a smear which has come off Rocky Fielding's eye, but it looks as though he's got a gash actually on the scalp.
Fielding's just stepping in too quickly with that right hand, and Tolan's just dropping his shoulder a little bit, and he's going over the top. That was better. Just threw a jab, poked him with the jab, and then followed with the right hand without stepping in. Again, he stepped in, and Tolan just dipping down a little bit, and he's just going over the top of him.
Rocky Fielding, when he won that prize fighter, came in, I think, at about 7 days' notice. Replaced Kenny Anderson, who in turn was to have fought rather than Tony Quigley, who was originally in there. They sort of dug deep and looked at who was available, who was in shape, and Fielding was the man. Now here's Tommy Tolan with Alex Doherty and Gerard McCaffrey in his corner. Is this where it happens? Oh, maybe no, it might have been.
Could have been a little left.
Yeah, I think it was the left hand. It sort of slashed across, didn't it? A sort of cutting action.
Yeah, will do, okay.
Obviously, you hit him into the chin. He missed the chin. He just sliced it, maybe with the back of the tape on the back of the glove.
Just use the 1-2 basic shots.
No, it's right over the eyelid.
All right.
If it gets worse, could
the best shot. I want to see it a little bit more.
Blind his left eye a little bit.
Keep your shield him.
But it looks like they've got it under control, so we'll just have to wait and see if he gets caught again, see whether it opens up.
Well, the referee's indicating to us that he believes it was caused by a clash of heads. I'm not sure that's the case. think we probably saw the moment that it opened up with that left hand which sort of grazed across the face of Fielding. You know, the ref's having a word with them, and it's about heads, but it's almost inevitable, really, when you've got such a size disparity as there is here.
Well, at the end of the day, Tommy Tolan can't stand off Rocky Fielding and expect to win. The only way he's got a chance of winning is getting in close, working the body and catching him over the top. So obviously he's got to come in. He's got to come in at a fast pace, which obviously is going to bring the heads together on times.
A few chants of Rocky. Corner have done a good job staunching the flow of blood, but referee will be keeping a close look at that injury because he didn't want it to get any worse on the eyelid.
No, that's better from Fielding, just keeping him at range, keeping him occupied, keeping Tolan busy with that jab, not falling in, just biding his time.
How disconcerting is it, Enzo, as a fighter, when you suddenly realise that you are cut and there's blood coming down into your eye?
It can affect people in different ways. You know, it depends how the fighter is. Some fighters will not panic. They just go back to the corner. They let the cutsman. They got full faith in the cutsman. Others will panic and think the ref's going to stop the fight. So they don't know how bad it is, and come out all guns blazing. So you know, it depends each fighter. Each fighter acts differently to different things.
I suppose some fighters are more cut prone as well. If you a Ricky Hatton, then you're used to it. But James DeGale, for instance, when he was cut in that 9th round, was it, against George Groves, you could visibly see him thinking, well, this is certainly not in the script.
Yeah, Ricky Hatton would have been more upset if he didn't get cut. I think he knew how to deal with it. He knew what he was doing. He was comfortable that if the occasion arose, it was all new to DeGale, and James DeGale visibly was affected by the cut. He kept dabbing away at the eye.
The referee seems happy enough with Fielding, who's doing a better job in this second round, keeping it at range.
Yeah, he's just inching himself forward and popping that jab out. You know, nothing stupid. He was falling in with the right hand in the first round. He hasn't done it so much in the second round. But you've always got to be careful with Tommy Tolan. He's come to fight. He's come to get Rocky Fielding's name on his record.
Won 3 of his first 5. He was stopped in 2 rounds by Tony Jeffries last year. So when he stepped up in class, he has struggled, but last fought in September, so he's fit, he's in shape.
Yeah, he looks strong. He looks like he fancies the job as well.
The end of this round will show you again the moment when we think that the cut might have happened. The right hand from Fielding, right on the bell. But the replay that you're going to see will be from the first round, when the cut over Fielding's eye was sustained, over that left eye. Let's have another look.
Oh, definitely a clash of heads there, John.
Yeah, you see, he winced and he knew straight away. And that's what the referee indicated to us, so spot on.
Like I said, Fielding was jumping in with that right hand, looking for the big right hand. Tolan was coming in at the same time, and obviously Fielding's going to come off the worst with Tolan's force coming, driving his head up.
Let it go nice and sharp, do you understand? Do you understand? Okay.
Oliver Harrison there in the corner.
Okay, you're getting a combination of. He's slapping when he's punching, Rock. There's only one good punch like your round right. Comes in.
Associated with Amir Khan earlier in his career.
Yeah, I'm sure Oliver Harrison will be telling him now, keep it long, nothing stupid, don't want to get that eye any worse, just keep it long.
Then we saw his feet slip on the canvas.
Yeah,
Rocky Fielding, as he tried to just step into Tolan and follow up that right hand.
Yeah, so Phil Box has been affected by that tonight. You know, it can be quite off-putting when you set yourself for a punch and throw a nice big shot. Your feet go, it sort of changes your game plan.
Often used to be a problem in the outdoor fights, as the dew came down later on, or the rain, as was the case in Cardiff that time when Frank Bruno fought against Lennox Lewis.
Young pup then I was, John.
Did you watch it?
Of course I did. I was in a pizza house watching it, my father and his friends.
Heads again going in close.
I think Fielding here is just trying a little bit too hard to impress. He's trying to take Tolan out, and he's trying to, you know, obviously equal what Jeffries did by stopping Tolan, and he's trying a little bit too hard. And I think he just used the jab, kept him long. He'd open him up a little bit more. He'd catch him every time with the jab. But as soon as he throws that big right hand, Tolan's expecting it, just dipping low, and it's going over the top of him. And it's getting a bit messy then. But Fielding has got a lovely jab. Should be using it a lot more.
Fielding, incidentally, real name Michael. He was given the nickname Rocky by his dad when he was a baby. Father Tosh boxed as a good class amateur in his day.
Yeah, but I don't really know them, but you know, obviously
looking into the cot and thinking, yeah, that's a Rocky if ever there was one.
Yeah, lovely family, all of them. I spoke to them after the prize fighter when he beat my Nevin Tobias in the final, and you know they congratulated Tobias and, you know, showed a lot of respect, and you know, that's nice to see. This, you know, boxing. People think boxing is a brutal sport, but it is a sport of gentlemen. You know, they get the differences out in the ring, and more often than not, you see them hugging and kissing after the fight. Not obviously like Victor Ortiz hugging and kissing during the fight, and look what happens.
Well, Webb against Fielding would be another decent fight, maybe somewhere down the line.
Yeah, you know, the general consensus of that night was, you know, Webb had a very hard draw. Robin Reed and Jermaine Smile.
Yeah, he fought Robin Reed, hadn't he?
Yeah, Robin Reed put a lot into that fight, and then obviously Jermaine Smile pushed him all the way. If I'm honest, I didn't want Tobias to go out into the final, but you know, he looked spent. He looked a spent force. Fielding looked fresh. He looked good all night. But you know, Tobias showed he's a warrior, and he wanted to go on.
He just got clipped by a left hand there. Fielding doesn't want to get careless.
He's a lovely boxer when he keeps it long. Tolan hasn't got much of a chance to get near him. But when he's stepping in, that's when Tolan's going to fire, and you know, that's what is dangerous for Fielding.
Well, 3 rounds gone, everything going Fielding's way so far, but just at times it's just got a little bit messy. A solid right hand from Fielding.
As you can see, Tolan's just trying to turn it into a fight. He's trying to get close, which is smothering Fielding's work, and you know, he's getting brought into Tolan's type of fight. He should be staying long, keeping him on the end of the jab, and things will happen from there. You'll see different things. You'll see different openings. He'll be able to use his shots a lot, his long reach a lot better, instead of trying to fight Tolan, which he could get into a bit of trouble with.
So we move into the second half of the fight. It's the 6th round of this super middleweight contest, and Rocky Fielding from Liverpool on the attack again in the early stages here. And you can see every time he lands, crowds, many of his supporters springing to their feet. They'd love to see him win by knockout, but Tolan is a tough man.
Yeah, but when he's keeping it long, he's throwing nice long shots. Tolan hasn't got an answer, but then he feels a bit of excitement. Fielding, he goes in for the finish, and that's when he's getting caught, and that's when it's looking a bit messy. But every time he keeps it long, he's throwing nice long shots. You know, he's gonna.
Now the ref's having a word here about use of the head.
I don't think it's intentional. You know, they both coming together, they both clashing, they're both trying to make a fight of it, and that's going to happen. So he's just caught him coming in there, nice long, and then he dives in where he gives Tolan a chance.
Tolan just keeps coming though, isn't he? He's a strong fella.
Yeah, you know, he's taking some shots and he hasn't quit. He kept trying, he's switching stance, and he's making a fight of it. But he's drawn Fielding into his fight.
Penny for Fielding's thoughts though, when he was ready to fight Lee Noble, who's slippery, rangy sort of fighter. Then suddenly, 2 or 3 days beforehand, not Lee Noble anymore, it's Tommy Tolan. It's a very different sort of set of problems he presents.
Yeah, it is, but unfortunately that is boxing. Has happened so many times in my career. I'm supposed to be fighting one person, then I'm fighting someone else, and by the end of the week I'm fighting the 4th person I'm supposed to have. But you know, that happens in boxing. Those are things you've got to deal with. But obviously he is young, he is still inexperienced as a professional, and you know, these things happen. He's going to have to learn how to deal with it in a little bit better way. But you are right, there's totally two different styles of fighters here.
Fielding still only 24 years old, and only in his 9th professional fight, undefeated as a pro. And 3 of those wins all came on the same night in that prize fighter contest. 3-round fights they were. Head goes boring in again from Tolan as he tries to put pressure on that far side of the ring.
He's totally neglected his jab for a minute, Field, and he's just looking for that big right hand catch him coming in. And he'd be much better off just pushing the jab in his face, going to set that right hand up.
A little bit of it may be having clearly got a lot of support in this auditorium, maybe just straining for the big shot that little bit too much, wanting to hear the roar of the crowd.
Yeah, definitely, you know, you see he's got talent. I think he's just trying a little bit too hard. When he's on his toes, when he's keeping it long, he looks a good level fighter. You know, when he's trying to fight, he looks scrappy.
Fair play to the corner, have done a good job on that cut though.
Yeah, fantastic job. You know, it looked quite a nasty cut the first round, but he stemmed the bleeding. You know, it hasn't been a factor in this fight.
Rocky, can you look at me, keep your eyes open? Rocky, every time...
Just look after me there. Please, your eye closed.
Every time you step up a little combination.
5th round coming up.
Aye. What do you think? Yeah, million. 1 million. 1 million%. 6 minutes. Come on, we don't want it. And then a great fucking target. And we're fellas are fitting here. Come on, can you hear me? Just for fun all day, son. You hear me? Yep. 2 rounds to go, 6 fucking minutes. Take a centre ring, feint, and get that going.
I get to look at the right hand all the time. So I'm just doing the right hand all the time. Come on then.
Well, you heard the end of the instructions there from Oliver Harrison, and it underlined what you were saying really, Enzo. He's just looking for the right hand all the time.
Yeah, and I think
I'd put some combinations together.
Yeah, like I said, it just boils down a little bit of experience, trying to impress the crowd, trying to impress the TV, and it just falling into the trap, like we seen in the last fight with Heffron and Pace. Pace drew Heffron into his type of fight, and that's what Tolan's doing the fielding here. And when you get stuck in a rut, it's very hard to get out of it.
This is where Tolan wants fielding.
Yeah, you know, this is the only chance he's got to work. Fielding keeps it long, he can't get in.
He has got 3 knockouts on his record. He can bang a little bit, can Tommy Tolan, if he gets in range.
Well, that's what he's looking for. He's popping that jab out. He's 2 or 3 jabs. I think he's just looking for Fielding's reaction so he can pop that right hand over the top, which is, I've heard, is his money shot. But Fielding needs to stop him in tracks, and a nice solid jab, nice little body shot.
Good left hook. Good left hook.
He needs to stop him in his tracks with a nice, stiff, solid jab. Make him think twice about coming in. Give yourself a bit of room, give yourself a little breathing space.
All the time, the big arena here is filling up. 2 main fights of the night still to come. James DeGale against Piotr Wilczewski for the European Super Middleweight title, and the WBO Light Heavyweight Championship of the World, Nathan Cleverly against the big Everton supporter Tony Bellew. A lot of his fans are supporters from that side of the city's divide as well, so they'll be hoping for better fortune from their man than the football team had against Chelsea, defeated by 3-1 this evening. And it's all getting a little bit messy.
Yeah, you know, Tolan's doing the only thing he knows how to do to win this fight, and that's getting close. But Fielding's coming into his game plan. He's playing into his game plan. He's drawing into the fight. Nice little right hand, and he come off the jab. Nice solid jab, stick it in his face, the blinding stick, and then pop the right hand over the top. But what Fielding's doing, he seems to be stepping in on the right hand too quickly, and Tolan's just dipping down and he's going over the top of it. He's a lovely boxer. I'd like to see him keep it long, use his boxing ability a bit more.
That's certainly what he was being told Well, my impression of what he was being told in the corner, and he's dictating terms in the closing seconds of this 5th round. There's the head going in again. You see the wince from Fielding as he tried to keep it away from that damaged left eye. Manages to do so, and just 1 round remaining. I've got him winning every round though.
Yeah, he won every round. He blocked good on times. No, I'm not going to be too harsh now. I'm not going to be too critical on him. He's inexperienced. He's just fallen into another man's fight plan. And Tolan's making him box the fight he doesn't want to box.
Winning easy.
6th round coming up. Well, she's a big boxing fan.
180 seconds, let's go.
Nevin, sorry, keep the hands up.
He's for tomorrow, I'm telling you, boys.
He's going to come. He's going to come.
Yeah.
This is what we look down at.
Let's get it on.
Listen, when he comes, when he walks in here, let them fucking go.
Come on, the marks go.
Apologies for some of the language in the corner, if it offends your finer sensibilities.
Unfortunately, John, we're in a fight game. The pressure gets heated in that corner, and things come out you wouldn't normally see. But
sometimes you want to get your point across.
In a certain way, I used to have a few slaps at Benji Calzaghe in that corner. That was his way. But Tolan, they fired Tolan up for this last round. And, he wants to come out fast. He wants to try his luck against Fielding. But Fielding looks well. He looks very good when he starts sticking that jab out and keeping it long. He looks very good. It's hard for Tolan to get in.
Good amateur pedigree, Rocky Fielding, who's Rotunda teammate of Tony Bellew, and of course Joe Selkirk, who's an emerging talent from this part of the world.
Yeah, Liverpool's pretty much a hotbed for boxing at the moment.
It's going well at the moment.
It's going well. Like we had in Wales not so long ago. Me, Gary Lockett, Gavin Rees, Bradley Price. Obviously they're still about, but when we were all world champions, it was a hotbed of boxing. I think that's what Liverpool is getting now at the moment. Champions breed champions.
Yep. Again, the messiness caused by the clash of styles. Tolan just trying to get in range and land the one bingo punch. Needs to find that big right hand from somewhere. Not really been able to land it flush.
Yes, styles makes fight, John, and if Fielding had someone who was standing off him and trying to box him, he would look very good. But Tolan's come in, he's trying to rough him up, he's trying to make a hard night's work, and it is, because Fielding has fallen into his trap. But this super middleweight division, obviously you've got the top boys in De Gale and George Groves, and then you've got a couple of boys lower down the pecking order. Some good fights out there to be made.
Crowd turning round, a little bit of a disturbance up in the bleachers, and the constabulary have escorted 2 or 3 people out who will see no further part of the evening's entertainment. Let's hope we don't see too much trouble. Final round, Fielding still trying to unload.
Yeah, he just wants to finish Tolan off. I think he wants to forget this night. He hasn't enjoyed it. It's been a hard night's work. But again, I think it's his 9th fight. He's still experienced, still inexperienced. He's all learning. He watch this tape. Next time he fights someone like Tommy Tolan, he will be keeping it long. He will be using that jab, and he will be using his range to better effect. Like I said, the super middleweight division, lower than the top boys. Some interesting matches to be made. I think everyone would like to see a rematch with Webb and Fielding, both of them when they're fresh rather than when they've already done 6 rounds with other people.
Yeah, that'll be a decent fight, maybe somewhere down the line. Last few seconds then of the final round, and a few chants of Rocky, and the supporters get the result they want as Steve Gray raises the hand of Rocky Fielding, and for me, I had it 6 rounds out of 6.
Yeah, he won all the rounds. Like I said, on times he boxed really well. On other times he let Tolan dictate the way the fight was made. But good. It was a good learning fight. He boxed well at times. He'll watch this tape again. He'll learn, and next time he won't make the same mistakes.
So that completes the hors d'oeuvre. Next up, we have the main event, and Mark Burdiss shortly will confirm a big points win for Rocky Fielding over Belfast's Tommy Tolan.
Scores a contest 60 points to 54. The winner in the blue corner from Liverpool, the Rocky from Stocky, Rocky Fielding.
Rocky Fielding, the winner. And next up, James de Gale against Piotr Wilczewski, and then the big one, Nathan Cleverly against Tony Bellew. I can hardly wait.
Never mind Rocky from Stocky, it was all a bit sticky for Rocky tonight, wasn't it? As John was just saying, next up James de Gale, the former Olympic champion who lost his British and Commonwealth belts last time out to his arch rival George Groves. Tonight though, he looks to win again as he goes hunting for European glory.
And it was good to hear Frank talking about the last man left standing. There's you and the European title fight. There's George in his fight against your old opponent Paul Smith, and the winners there, or one or two of the winners there, end up fighting Kessler because he's done a deal with Sauerland. So that must have been music to your ears as well.
When he even mentions names like Kessler and things like that, I get a little shiver through my spine thinking, yeah, wow, imagine that, box for a world title. But I'm just ready to deal with my fight first and my business and win this European title. Hopefully Gorgeous George, that's his new name, wins his fights and defends his titles, whatever, and then we can get it on again, and then we brack him up and then move on to the next thing, man. But boxing for a world title, someone like Kessler or something like that, that's a dream come true for me.
You know, Judge, you and I've known you a long while. We've done a lot of interviews over the years at different places, BBC, Setanta, and now here at Box Nation. And I always tell people when they ask me what you're like, I say, you know what, he's a nice guy. Why is it you think some people dislike him?
I don't know, you're going to have to tell me.
I don't know, I'm asking you genuinely, I'm not looking for
I'm a nice, humble, family man, like, I just don't know. Obviously I'm confident, and some people take my confidence as arrogance. But it's not arrogance, it's just that I'm so confident in my ability and where I'm going.
You won a gold medal at the Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. I won a gold medal for our country in 2008, and yeah, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one, but like I say, I've got my fans out there, and yeah, and hopefully I can build it.
Okay, let me just talk specifically about Piotr Wilczewski. I'm going to pronounce it because you're not going to pronounce it.
No, I just call him Pete. I just call him Pete.
Our mate Pete. Our Polish pal Pete. What do you know about our Polish pal Pete?
To be honest, not too much, Bunce, but the bits I've seen of him, he's a good fighter. His record speaks for it.
To this evening's sport, Colin Linden is here with the detail.
Perfectly placed. Now he'll make it. Another life-saving routine on your fire escape plan. UTV Sport in association with Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service.
A very good evening. We start with boxing, and Martin Rogan certainly lives up to his entertainer nickname. The Belfast heavyweight was in fine form during a press conference to promote his upcoming fight against Matt Skelton next month. It's set to be a heavyweight clash of epic proportions. Martin Rogan and Matt Skelton will go toe-to-toe for a second time at Belfast's King's Hall, and the popular Belfast fighter was in jovial mood at today's press conference. After his planned fight for the WBU heavyweight belt fell through last month, Rogan assured the assembled press that a belt would be on the line in his fight with the man dubbed the Bedford Bear.
Big time, we don't need a belt, there's a belt there. We're nice fighting for this belt, okay? Don't need a belt to see a good fight. I have a belt here, it's out next. If they want to use that, they can use it, you know, raise that above your head at the end of it. But the thing is, it's about the fight, isn't it? You know, if they say most belts aren't credible, then we don't need a belt then to fight for.
Back to the serious stuff though, and there's no doubt Skelton will provide tough opposition for Rogan. A former world champion in his own right, the 44-year-old is out to prove a point after his 11th round loss to Rogan back in 2009.
The last time I fought Matt, I busted the lock. This time I'm going to pick it. You know, Matt's a great fighter, and he's a tough character. He's been around the MMA and stuff, and he's been around the professional scene with Danny Williams, Michael Spratt and others, and he's challenged for the world title, and you know, and I've already fought him and beat him. It took 11 rounds of toe-to-toe action, and this here's going to be an World Championship fight, and we know what Matt's going to bring. It's just, let's see what I have.
There's no hiding in the ring. There's no, you know, we're not the type of fighters to sort of look for a way out, if you want, and try and have the easy route. We just come to fight. That's all we know, and I think that's what makes it exciting for the supporters.
Fittingly though, the last word goes to Rogan, who's keen to assure local fight fans that they're in for a treat at the brawl in the hall.
Take a look at the first encounter, go and get a ticket and come and see the second one. I think the second one will be a lot better. He looks in better shape, and he seems a lot hungrier. Hopefully it's for food.
Boxing on a bit of a roll at the moment, Duke, in Germany. Nice confident start from Woge. Upright sort of fighter. Typically European style. Lost in the European Olympic quarterfinals in 2008 and went out in the first round of the European Championships in 2006, beaten by Kenny Egan, the Irishman. No great disgrace in that. Egan, one of the finest amateur fighters to come out of Britain or Ireland in recent years. You see Waldron prepared to come along and have a go. He's been a pro since 2008. Waldron lost 2 of his first 3, but one of those was a disqualification for headbutting Danny Cousins. Last time out, Woge, incidentally, stopped Cousins' brother, Sammy, in 5 rounds. Fighter from Hampshire. But Waldron can be heavy-handed. He dropped Danny Cousins in the opening round of that contest, and he's prepared to get stuck in, but he's got pale skin. And sort of skin, sort of face, which is likely to mark up as the fight unfolds. Solid-looking overhand right from Woge, who's bossing most of the early action in this opening round. As a good, solid right hand from the German, who looks prepared to step into range and test his power against Waldron, who, as I've already said, can look a little bit fragile. Already a smear of blood coming from the Irishman's nose. Waldron's lost his last 3, Duke. You'd think that Woge would be very much a big favourite to win this one, and already in this opening round, he's bossing the action. Sorry about that. Duke McKenzie is with me, I promise you that. Moment, a problem with his microphone. So first round completed, this 6-round light heavyweight contest. The corner don't look too happy about it, do they? Body language of the trainer suggests that he'd like a little bit more. Woge bossed the action pretty effectively.
Du brauchst ihn nicken, du sollst es machen. Dann haust, wenn du mal haust, 1, 2 ganz gerade. Fängt schon wieder an zu mähen. Hau auf als Rind, der ist doch gleich tot. Mit der Führung immer, merkst du das nicht? Ja. Und dann mach es doch so.
Jawohl. Went out in the first round of the 2005 World Championships, Woge as well. But good enough to have won 4 German amateur titles. But as any professional fighter will tell you, it's a very different sort of discipline moving into the second round. A different discipline fighting as a professional than from as an amateur. And Woge, the taller man, the German in the black shorts, firmly in control in the first. Jabbing confidently, Waldron trying to keep gloves up high. Had a few attacking ideas in the early stages, but he's starting to soak it up a little bit now. Woge mixing up the attack, moving to body as well. Well, Waldron came into this as a late substitute for Paul Morby, who was originally going to fight the Portsmouth fighter, who did have a decent win against Matthew Barney a way back. But Morby was stopped by Kenny Anderson. As a result of that, wasn't allowed to take his place in this contest, so Waldron got the call as the substitute. And as he absorbs a few heavy shots in this second round, well, he might be contemplating the payday, but it doesn't look as though he's going to be contemplating a victory. That's better. Better from Waldron, and you could hear from his corner. Pleased to see him find the target with that right hand, but it's a single shot. Plants himself nicely, Woge. Gets some good purchase into his punches. That's a solid uppercut, and the right uppercut. Well, he's getting a standing count, Waldron. Really, just as I said, he plants his feet and punches with real authority, and he's been stopped. The right uppercut ending the fight in the second round. And Robert Woge, well, that's now 5 stoppage wins out of 6. Time will tell just how good a prospect he is. But John Waldron will tell you, pretty banged up after less than 2 rounds of action. He's taken some heavy shots, and it was that, the uppercut, that ended it. He turned away, he didn't want any more, and the referee took a look and said, yep, that's your evening's work done.
It was a fantastic uppercut by Woge. Planted his feet, came right through, followed through with the elbow, and as you see, Waldron looked away in disgust and pain.
Well, in all honesty, I don't think Woge had to beat a great deal here. That's a 4th consecutive loss for the Irishman, John Waldron. But what we did see of him, the German, well, he does tee off effectively.
Well, he plants his feet really, really well. Again, you know, unfortunately for Waldron, he just stood right in front of him, and that uppercut opened his eye, split his eye wide open.
The eye busted up, the nose seeping blood as well. And Waldron in his 11th professional fight, you can see the referee giving him the count, but then when he'd finished the count, he took another look and said, yep, that's quite enough. So victory number 6 for Robert Woge. He will move on to greater things. Only been a professional since March last year, married with a daughter, looking to forge a career as a professional fighter now, and he maintains that undefeated record. Confirmation of the result coming up.
Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, und hier das offizielle Urteil. Ringrichter Jörg Milke aus Cottbus stoppte den Fight nach genau 2 Minuten in Runde 2. Und damit Sieger durch TKO und weiter unbesiegt aus Deutschland, Robert Woge.
Kurt Milke, as you heard, stopping the fight, and by TKO, the winner, Robert Woge.
Brave battling performance from the Irishman, just didn't have enough there, did he? Right, when we come back, we will start to build up to our main event of the evening. That man, the captain, Marco Huck, putting his world title on the line in Germany against Rogelio Omar Rossi. He could be a dangerous opponent, but will he have enough to dethrone the captain? We'll find out when we come back.
Will you be there when Canada rocks Vietnam? When Great Britain's DJs spin Jamaica? When Smirnoff brings the rhythms of Brazil to Germany? Will you be there November 12th when 50 countries swap nights? The Smirnoff Nightlife Exchange Project. The exchange begins on Facebook. Be there.